Hello, my name is Trevor Gordon. I'm with the Canadian Epilepsy Alliance. Today we are going to interview someone named Tara Slone. Tara Slone is awesome. I'm a huge fan of her on the NHL broadcast that she does. I'm just going to read a little bit about her, okay? So Tara, most people are lucky to have one successful career, but that's not the case for actor turned rocker turned morning host turned hockey broadcaster Tara Slone. Tara first pursued her passion for music professionally, becoming the lead singer of the Juno-nominated rock group Joy Drop, and then as a finalist on the hit CBS rock series Rockstar in Excess. Tara also appeared in dozens of films, television shows, and stage productions early in her entertainment career. In 2010, Tara became the host of Breakfast Television Calgary, where she spent 5 years. It was there she was given the opportunity to work in the world of sports. Acting, she worked with Sportsnet's Canada's #1 sports channel. But now, or for 8 years, Tara co-hosted the groundbreaking NHL broadcast Rogers Hometown Hockey alongside Ron McLean, where she became the first woman to host the national NHL show. Tara is also a 2021 Canadian Screen Award nominee for her work on the CTV music program Budweiser Stage at Home. Tara uses her extensive experience from theater, music, and broadcasting to connect to her audiences on multiple levels, a genuine entertainment professional. So today, we want to recognize Tara. She helped us with creating epilepsy awareness a few years back. She created an epilepsy awareness video that was used with the Canadian Epilepsy Alliance. A lot of Epilepsy Alliance agencies, there's 25 epilepsy agencies across Canada. A lot of epilepsy agencies across Canada use that video. So today we are going to have a
Hey, am I on?
You're on. So full disclosure, I'm not a professional entertainment host or host by any means. So I always get intimidated when I do these type of streams with actual professionals like yourself. So I apologize that I was doing this. I don't have a teleprompter to read your amazing bio.
No need. That's great. It was nice to hear. Thank you.
So the reason why I reached out to you, and I was so kind, I appreciate how kind you were in the sense of responding and wanting to do this, was a few years back, you were kind enough to create an epilepsy awareness video. It was like a 30-second, 60-second video that we used during the month of March and Purple Day to create awareness. And we got so much interaction, so much views from that video, to the point that we still use that video every year. And I was curious, do you have a connection to epilepsy? What made you, I guess, want to help out create epilepsy awareness? It seems like she's frozen. We might have lost her connection there. She is frozen. Can you hear me, Tara?
Do you have me now? Hey, sorry, I got disconnected completely.
Yeah, we saw a frozen Tara there, and I'm like,
Lovely.
was it something I said?
No.
Did you hear the question?
Yeah, do I have a connection? Yeah, I mean, not super close, but I do. I have some friends who have children with epilepsy, and I do have some family members with seizure disorders. So not classified exactly as epilepsy, but certainly in the family. And so I know, I think how misunderstood it is, probably how much work still needs to be done, how much work has been done, and how disruptive it can certainly be in people's lives. But I think also just an awareness is really needed. There's a lot of fear around epilepsy. So I think the more that we have these conversations, I think it's important.
So when one of the epilepsy organizations, I assume that's what happened, when one of the epilepsy organizations reached out to you to do that video, like, is that the reason why you wanted to use your platform to do that video? Like, did you get any reaction when you did that video from any of your followers? It looks like you froze again.
Oh my God, I got disconnected again, but here I am. Yeah, I mean, I think, people just, it was an old friend of mine who asked, and I gladly said yes. I mean, I think any way that I can use my platform to help bring awareness, I'm really happy to do that. So, and it was you that told me that it was still being used and getting reactions, so that certainly makes me happy.
Yeah. I think a lot of the misconception with epilepsy is a lot of people think that epilepsy is this rare disease. It's not rare. 1 in 100 Canadians have it. Over 300,000 Canadians have epilepsy. We like to say it might be a hidden disease, but it's not a rare disease by any means. So a celebrity public figure such as yourself creating a video like that, it created so much dialogue. And I'm curious, like when you posted it, did it spark any conversations in your world, whether it be colleagues or family members or just your followers, your supporters? Because I know a lot of people reached out to us saying, oh, we were so appreciative of a person at your level putting a voice to this cause. So I'm just curious if you got any reaction or dialogue.
I mean, not that it was a long time ago, and it was during COVID, so I probably have forgotten a lot. I probably erased a lot from my memory during that time. No, but I certainly remember talking to my family member, with whom, we had a discussion about the seizure disorder, and it's just that there's so many different forms, and I think, yeah, they were really appreciative that I was able to help.
Why do you think it's important for people like yourself, not even just to talk about epilepsy, any cause? Like, I mean, I look at your followers and I read your bio, you do multiple things, you're well established in the world. Like, why do you think it's important for a person like yourself to take on something like doing as simple as something of creating a video? Like, for maybe you, it took you 2 seconds, but for us, we were so appreciative. So, and you probably get bombarded by so many requests, and you always have to think what's legit, what's not, or what's genuine. Like, why do you think it's important to do that for you?
Well, because I think you just answered the question yourself. It's like, because it really doesn't take me much time. I'm fortunate enough to have this platform, and that's what I can offer. I'm not a doctor. I can't support, medical causes in that way. But what I can do is just attach my name and my platform to something, and that can spark conversation. And even if it changes one person's perception or sparks one conversation, I think it's worth it. So I feel like in the grand scheme of what I can give back to the world, it's really the least I can do.
This one question that I wanted to actually start off, but we had a little bit of the technical difficulties, was I have to ask you this. In your job title and what you do, and you're living in San Jose, you work for the San Jose Sharks, yeah?
Yes.
I mean, am I allowed to ask you what your favorite team is?
Well,
because I have to stand up for a second.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'm wearing purple, the purple official Leafs jersey for Epilepsy Awareness Month, but are you allowed? Do you have to be not biased, or how does that work?
Well, it's interesting. When I was working at Sportsnet and doing hometown hockey, you have to be kind of like team agnostic, right? So for us, we couldn't really show any favoritism. We really rooted for the Canadian teams. And now, obviously, I'm a San Jose Sharks employee, so they're my favorite team. We're having a rough year, but I think things are going to look up from here. But I grew up watching the Montreal Canadiens. I'm super open about that. I mean, my family's from Montreal. That was my Saturday night ritual was doing that with my dad. So yeah, I think I'm allowed. Everybody has a childhood favorite team, you know?
That's true. Well, wearing your job hat, like, what do you think? And I have to talk about Toronto for a second because that's where I am. Is what do you think the Maple Leafs need to do to get to that final stage? Pretending you're not from Montreal and pretending you don't work for San Jose Sharks. What do the Leafs have to do to get there? And will Austin get that 70 goals?
I think Austin can get there. Absolutely, Austin can get there. I mean, you know, I don't know there are Leafs teams that I think obviously should have gotten past that first round or whatever it was. I don't know. There's just a winning culture and that with the teams who kind of go all the way. I honestly haven't watched enough Leafs games this year because I've been so fixated and focused on my team. And living in the Western time zone, you know, they all start crazy. The Leafs games start really, really early. So, you know, so I can't speak to the fact of like whether that team has that winning culture attached to it. I think of all years, it should be this year. Goaltending is obviously going to be, I mean, when you're talking about like how a team, like goaltenders steal games during the playoffs. So they're going to need some of, you know, some of that magic, but I don't know. I mean, it's a ridiculously good team. They should be able to, but there's so much parity in the league. There's so many great teams. There's so many great players. It's going to be hard. The playoffs are going to be awesome.
I appreciate you putting up with my nerdy, sporty questions there for a moment, but I had to ask. But to bring it back to epilepsy, I'm curious, like, have you met anyone, and I'm not asking you to share names or anything, but have you met anyone, whether it be a fellow musician wearing your musician hat, or even an athlete that might have shared that they've dealt with seizures? And because that can happen, whether it be from a head injury or anything like that. And I'm not asking you to share names, but like, I know a lot of people are afraid to talk about it. So I'm just curious if you've had that discussion ever privately.
No, I mean, nobody has ever approached me and said, you know, I have this, but like I said, I have a couple of close family members who have seizure disorders. So they do have seizures. They're not the overt kind. The types of seizure disorders they have are, you know, they lose the ability to speak and communicate. So they kind of, all of a sudden you'll be talking to them and they will look like they've glazed over, and in their mind they're trying to speak but they're gone, and then they come back. So that's a seizure. So I certainly know what that is like, and you know, with one particular family member, it was sort of a later onset, and it's quite alarming when you lose you know, when your brain does some really messed up stuff.
Do you feel like you've learned a lot about epilepsy since you took on doing that video? Like did you know anything about epilepsy prior to those family friends? Because I feel a lot of people know about epilepsy from what they see in movies, that seizures are just what you see on a floor, which there's actually over 40 different types of seizures, and it's not just someone shaking on the ground. I think sometimes people think you can't go to a hockey game because of the strobe lights or things like that, and that might affect 4% of people living with epilepsy. So I'm just wondering if you learned anything from doing all this type of stuff.
I think it's more from my family member that I learned, because obviously our whole family had to kind of start to understand what was happening. So
I appreciate that because I think a lot of times the misconception is someone has a seizure, you have to call 911. And that's actually part of what the 25 agencies across Canada are trying to educate the public is, yeah, if you don't know the person's having a seizure, yes, call 911 because you're trying to do the right thing. But if you know someone has epilepsy, or you know someone has a seizure disorder, a lot of the time, you know, you just time the seizure. If it's going to last less than 5 minutes, then the person will be fine. You don't have to call 911. We're trying to not fill up the emergency room with people that just have a seizure. But as as we wrap up, because I know you're a busy person, and I'm just reading half of your bio, I'm like, do you even have time to sleep? You're awesome. And I want to tell everyone here, she is so busy, she's so well known, and she was everything. She was so lovely. She said yes right away to doing this. I want to thank you as we wrap up. Thank you so much for, first of all, just creating that video, because like I think it was in 2020, as you said, that we posted that video. That original video still gets a lot of views, a lot of traffic. It gets reshared. We post the video every year. We posted it just recently, this past Epilepsy Awareness Month. It's getting so much traffic, so much dialogue. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't think we can thank you enough for using your platform to create that video. Thank you for everything. Thank you for doing this and helping create conversation about epilepsy.
My pleasure. Like I said, it's really the least I can do, and one of the ways that I can, offer my support.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, and we thank you, and thank you for doing this, and enjoy the rest of your day. And I wish your team well, but not too well.
No, exactly. We have 4 games left, and we're at this point we're kind of gunning for last place so we can get the best odds at the first overall pick. So that's where we're at.
I don't have the divisions in front of me, but do you think it could be that Montreal could go against San Jose? Like, I don't know if that aligns.
No, well, none of those teams are making the playoffs. So we're in last place
this year. But what would happen? I'm giving you the devil's advocate.
Eventually. Oh God, what would I do? You're
gonna wear a Montreal jersey underneath the.
Yeah, I do like the moms who have like kids on 2 teams, just a half a jersey.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. You're amazing, and I appreciate everything you've done for epilepsy awareness, and we thank you for your time today.
My pleasure. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So we were just chatting with Tara Slone. Tara Slone, you might recognize her from being on Sportsnet. She's also on Rogers Hometown Hockey. She was also in a band called Joy Stone or Joy Drop. She created an epilepsy awareness video in 2020 that is getting still to this day so much traffic. So we wanted to recognize her for helping create epilepsy awareness. So thank you for watching. We appreciate it. If you want to help create epilepsy awareness, we are always looking for public figures, celebrities, anyone that has a connection to epilepsy to share your story. So if you have epilepsy and you want to write out your story, be sure to reach out to the Canadian Epilepsy Alliance. If you are a public figure, if you're a celebrity that wants to use your platform to help create epilepsy awareness, please reach out to the Canadian Epilepsy Alliance. Epilepsy is not a rare disease. I repeat, epilepsy is not a rare disease. Over 300,000 Canadians have epilepsy. It might be a hidden disease, but it's not a rare disease. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a good night.